Jiuyuan is one of the best sub DPS characters in NTE, not only for Natalie but for a lot of DPS in the game. To play and build her correctly, we need to go over her kit first. Let's start with her basic attack. When secrets take shape, she performs up to 5 attacks, dealing anema damage and granting 2 Rose Pact bullets. Also, she established a lethal Rose Pact with the target when the final hit strikes. If you hold her basic attack, you will auto-target and fire a bullet, dealing 1 instant of anema damage and consuming the Rose Pact bullet. On her skill Intel Hunter, she dashes across the battlefield, pulling target into the range of control and attacking. Deals multiple instances of anema damage and grants 4 Rose Pact bullets while establishing a lethal Rose Pact. On her ult Final Reckoning, she deals anema damage, triggers Final Reckoning, causing all lethal Rose Pact targets within range to enter a stage where Pact settlement can be triggered, executing all settlements simultaneously on the final hit. Her intro skill deals 1 instance of anema damage and granting 2 Rose Pact bullets upon a hit. Her first passive is the Blossom Enhancement, so her Esper Cycle upgrade spawns 1 additional Vita butt and increase Vita butt limit on field to 6. Her second passive, Whispers at My Command, binds a target not affected by Fail Rose Pact when Vita pistols hit them. Triggers an additional settlement on target already bound, causing them to take an extra 15% X anema damage. For a Jiuyuan rotation, I'm just gonna go into her specific because I think the whole Pact stuff might have been complicated for some of you. I normally would just start with Jiuyuan or do Jiuyuan attacks before swapping into Natalie. In this example, to get the anema set bonus for Natalie. Now, for the whole settlement stuff things, you can see here this icon, and once it turns into the rose, you could technically ult. Let me show you. And then you should also heal if you have her dupe active. Let's have a look. And now you're healed. And then you can basic attack. So yeah, that is the only thing you need in mind. Those icons actually shows you on which state of the settlement you are, you could say, right? Now the rose. And if you have the ult, you can also, again, heal. So yeah, you only need to have this in mind while playing her, honestly. So always have a look at the rose stuff. And yeah, again, just for the show, I hope I'm not going to die before I get the ult. I just need her ultimate. Hold on. Now, you see the rose again, right? And now 780 to 6,000. So yeah, that is basically the only thing you really need in mind while playing Jiuyuan. Let's go over her weapon next. To be honest, she does have a lot of options. You could either go with a DPS option like Reality Refuge, just to get more DPS out of her, but there are some other weapons you could technically run on her. One of those would be Blow Up the Crowd if you want to play Jiuyuan more of a support unit, and with this weapon you will get an increased attack buff on the active character when the character with this weapon is off field. Another weapon could be Day Off, since you do get more ultimate and also 1 ultimate settlement, so this is also an option you could run on her. Another weapon you could run is Fluff of Fearlessly. I probably pronounced that wrong, but whatever. Increases attack by 25% for 10 seconds after you cast an ultimate. It's also a pretty valid option, but it is a battle pass weapon. Another arc you can play on her is Either's Keeper. It's a good weapon. It has an attack percent main stat, increased attack, increased damage dealt to bosses, and also has some general good DPS buffs for Jiuyuan. So if you have this one, it is also a good one, but obviously Reality Refuge is her signature weapon and therefore the best option for her. Do keep in mind, I am recording this on an early access global server, so there might be some changes to some weapons. Just keep that in mind. Next, for her build, she obviously wants to run the anema set, just like Natalie, right? if you want to get the maximum out of the set, you would want to play another Anima character, but honestly, she's more of a sub DPS anyways, so that would be not too much of a problem if you don't get everything out of the set. Now for her catch rate main stat, you technically want the same as for Nanali, so an Anima damage percentage, but the main stat can also kind of change depending on what weapon main stat you have, but generally speaking, the Anima damage set is probably always better, but I think attack or crit rate / crit damage isn't a too bad option for Jiuyuan. Now for her modules, obviously you want to get as much crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, universal damage as possible. It's the same for every DPS character, honestly. This is the best placement you can do because you want to get as much crit rate as possible, and for each type 2 you will get a bonus of 6%. So yeah, not much to talk about her modules, so let's go to her dupes. For her dupes, it's the famous healing dupe for her. Basically, you get an increased lethal rose pack damage ratio by 100%, then restores HP to the entire team equal to 5% of the total damage accumulated by that rose pact whenever Pact settlement is triggered by casting Final Reckoning. Get her into above S tier honestly, because she does good damage and also heals like a healer. So yeah, this dupe is pretty ridiculous, but also the other dupes are good to have, since you have a healer that just deals more damage if you have more dupes on her, but obviously you can still play her with no dupes at all, so keep that in mind. For her ability upgrades, try to get the passives, of course, as fast as possible, and then go for her ult, then skill, then basic attack and support skill. So focus on ult and skill, and then you are good to go. Now for her teams, she is a sub DPS / utility character, so she can fit in a lot of different teams. We have the best Nanali team at the moment. Once Hotori comes out, Hotori will replace Zero. Here, you could have a flexible slot and Hotori as a main DPS. Here, you can play a Shiz team with Jiuyuan and Aether, and also another flex slot like Haniel for example, or even Sakuri. So yeah, Jiuyuan is really flexible in terms of her teams. And yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know who should I do next. I probably do Bai Xing and then Shiz. So let me know in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care and see you guys in the next one.